Hello everyone, welcome to 3.4, which is rounding decimals. The essential question is, how can you use place value to round decimals to a given place? So we got some steps I want you to write down. Alright, so step number one is you got to determine what part of the number are you going to be rounding. Which one will be rounded? The second step is you got to look at the number to the right of the one that you're going to round. Step 3 is if it is 4 or below, the number stays the same. If it is 5 or above, the number gets rounded up 1. So we'll explain that in just a second. Okay. Basically, it's just any number that you're going to round, you have to look to the number on the right. So like if I have, let me see if I can write something down here. So if I have like 0.46, okay, and let's 0.463. Okay, and let's say I'm trying to round to the nearest hundredths, right here. I'm trying to round that number. Well, I have to look at this number to see, does it go up or does it stay the same? So the 3 is less than 5. So it tells me that the 6 is rounded to 0.46, right? It stays the same. Okay, so when you round it to wherever, if it says round to the nearest hundredth, then the hundredth is your last digit, okay? And the 3 is gone because it rounded up to this, told it to stay the same. Alright, so let me show you what if we had to round to the nearest tenth. Let's say we're rounding this number. Well, once again, we still look at the number to the right, and since this is 5 or more, it's more than 5, right? 5 or more, it's 5 or above. It's telling us, hey, this 4 has to go up 1. So it would change to 0.5. Once again, if it's the nearest tenth, that's the only number they want to see. So it's 0.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at the examples. So example number 1, I got a few problems here. And it says round the number to the nearest tenth. So we already did the first step, which was to determine what part of the number needs to be rounded. Okay? Hello? Yeah. Okay, so we have to round the number to the nearest tenth. So we know that this is the number that's going to be rounded. And what we have to do is look at the number to the right. So let's go ahead and do that now. The one to the right of the 7 is 8. And it's telling us that, hey, the 7 needs to be rounded up to 0.8. Okay? The number to the right of this is 4. That's under 5, so it's telling us that it's going to be 2.3. It's going to stay the same. And this one is an 8. That's next to the 1. It's telling us to round it up to 15.2. Very simple, right? Okay, let's move on. Example number 2. Name the place value to which each number was rounded. So they're going to give you a couple of numbers, and you're going to say, okay, how is this rounded? I'll give you a hint on this one, guys. You want to just see what numbers are still there at the end of it. So like if I'm looking at the first problem, 4.805, and it goes to 4.8, well, that tells me that the 0 and the 5 are gone. So it got rounded to the nearest tenth. Because that's what's left, right? You want to look at what's the last one that's left. Okay, and it's tenth. Let's look at this one. Well, what's left? You got the 1 and 5. So the last one that was rounded is, well, the 4 was rounded up to a 5. So it's in the ones place. Yeah, that's the one past the decimal. Okay? It was in the ones place. And this one, what's left? The tenths. So it was rounded in the tenths place. Okay, because the 9 got rounded up to a 0, which rounded this up to a 2. Okay, and this is the final example. It's something that I think is important and that I wanted to go over. Okay, let me see. Is this working? Okay. It says, what do you do if you round 7.999 to the nearest tenth? What are you going to do? Well, when you have 7.999 rounded to the nearest tenth, what you have to do is look, okay, it's telling the 9 to move up. Well, the 9 can't move up. So you got to go to the next one, which is the ones, and tell that to move up. Okay? And if it was 9.999 and it tells this to move up and it can't move up, well, then it goes to 10. Okay? 10.0. So this rounded to the nearest tenth here is 8.0. And I'll show you that right now. 8 0.0. It's rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, you have to know that, you start off every number, you have the thousandths, the hundredths, the tens, the ones, then you have the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay? So you want to know that. This is the tenths, this is the hundredths, this is the thousandths. Okay, and if you need a tutorial on that, you can go to chapter 3.1. I think I go over that extensively in the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You have a good one. If you have any questions, please write them down. Make sure you write down all 3 examples and the steps, and have a good one.